get it, gal. Dirty morning. Here you go.
This right here is the difficulties of opening New York City public schools and schools everywhere, right? So first thing, space, right? In most schools, there's multiple schools in one building, right? So in my school, there's 5 floors, I believe, and each floor has a different school, right? So that means for each school, the student population is smaller, but there's limited space. Okay, so the main office, right? Because you can't have different offices because we need more classes for students, you got a whole bunch of staff in one office, one room, right? So the counselor sometimes, the AP, the principal, the parent coordinator, you name it, right? All in one office. It's really hard for social distancing because remember, students are in and out there, teachers are coming in and out, clocking in and out for when they come in and leave. There's a whole bunch of traffic in there, right? And also, right, we have counselors, we have third party organizations that help with the kids as well. They're all in one little office. Kids are in and out the counselor's office like crazy, right? The traffic in there is crazy. Also, right, the custodial work. So, in order to really clean these schools, we're understaffed for custodians, right? And also, right, just the quality of work. Like, there's times where I will leave something on Friday, like a bottle of water, right, and it'll be right there. Or there'll be a mess somewhere in the chair, like someone spilled chocolate milk or whatever, and the chocolate milk will be there Monday, you know, like. And to properly clean these schools, we need more custodial staff. Like, most custodians only like sweep the floor, right? But now you can access custodians for each room in the school, right? To wipe down the tables, disinfect everything, the staircase, the rails, like the water fountain. You gotta disinfect everything. When these custodians are usually really just sweeping, and they may be mopped once in a blue moon, but they're not really wiping down things, and they gotta do this daily, you know, so we don't have enough staff for that, enough custodial staff for that, and it's gonna be a lot more work on their hands, and I don't know if they're gonna be able to handle that, to properly clean it. Scanning, right? In New York City, we have metal detectors. In most high schools, it's mostly metal detectors, right? So let's say, right, we got these 5 floors, these 5 floors, there's 5 schools in the building, right? All of these students are in one line, putting their stuff through the scanner. All right, so we may do blended learning. So every student may not be able to come to school each day. So let's say 1/3 of students come each day, right? Are mandated to come. And we have 1,500 kids total, probably 2,000 maybe. So that's about like 550, 600, right? You're gonna have like 550 to 600 kids in one line trying to get in for scanning. Or everyone doesn't come early, right? So maybe 200 kids each hour, right, coming in. Even if you want to do social distancing, the line would be like 5 blocks. Most of these kids are condensed, and these kids are taking transportation from Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, they're all over. They're going to the corner store. A lot of them don't even wear a mask. A lot of them have their mask on their chin, or you know, they just wear it to look cool. So they're not really practicing social distancing on the train, because the trains, it may be cleaner, but it's still a risk you catching the virus. The trains in the morning are packed. Imagine when all the kids start going back to school on top of everyone going to work. The train's gonna be jam-packed. There's gonna be no social distancing in there. Kids coming from all over the place. And wherever that area, the scanning is, whether it be the lunchroom or the main entrance, you're gonna have all those people in jam-packed coming in, and you don't know what the virus might start there and then work its way in, right? So scanning is gonna be a mess. Like I said, traveling, public transportation. You know, now that you add, with 1.1 million kids going to school, so you add that 1.1 million plus the essential workers and everyone going back to work in the fall, it's just gonna be too much traffic going to and from. It's gonna be crazy. The last part is the protocols for positive cases. This came out yesterday. So this is what they say, right? If you're positive, right? If 2 or more children test positive, the entire building will close for 2 weeks, right? And 2 or more children, meaning like if they're in different classes, okay? So the entire building will close for 2 weeks. If 2 cases arise in the same building, but the infections occurred outside of school, the building will close for 2 weeks because now they got to see the tracing, where it came from. Now, this takes us to this. If tracing efforts can't determine the origin, school will close for 14 days. So staff will be given priorities at testing sites, right? So they're not gonna give us testing in school. We're gonna have to go to a different site to get testing. And you know how long those lines are, right? So that's just, we have to go out our way to get testing when they should provide it for us there to make it convenient. They do it for the professional athletes. Why do we gotta go out our way to get tested? And then how many kids, students and staff are gonna actually feel like going all the way out their way to get tested? All right, now, also, like coming from the summer break, these kids been on vacation. They've been all over the place, including some teachers. We don't know what they got. We don't know where they've been, who they've been in contact with. Last one, students and staff who do not feel well will be asked to leave the building. I think for students, they're gonna have to stay with the staff until a parent picks them up. Now, if a student doesn't feel well, will an adult be really comfortable being with that student until their parents come if they're not feeling well? Because the staff think, I don't know if they might catch, if they have the COVID. I don't want to be next to that kid. So how is that going to work? You know, I'm not saying everyone's going to feel that way, but people are human, right? People are not going to feel comfortable being in the same vicinity as that kid that may not feel well. Now it's like to the point where even if you don't even have COVID, if you're sick, people's like, oh, like I don't know about that. So, and for staff, if you don't feel well, then you'll be asked to leave the building. So I'm just like, if we got to go through all of this, why open the schools? Because now, right, this causes inconsistency. So if kids get sick, we have for 14 days. When them 14 days is over, we got to get the kids acclimated back to being in the school building. And then, and especially in my school, attendance is very low. So these kids have been, and I feel like it's everywhere, right? If you've been home for 14 days comfortable, to go back to school, back to learning, after you've been home chilling all day, doing work at your own time, and being back to a classroom, it's gonna be hard to adjust. And if we keep continuing to do this over and over and over again, it's gonna be a mess. It's gonna be a mess because it's inconsistency. We try to teach consistency with students, but now we're gonna be in an inconsistent situation. So even though the numbers are low, right, if we gotta go, in our New York City, if we gotta go through all of this, it just feel like it's not worth it, you know? And then talk about building relationships with students, you know, being 6 feet apart, that's gonna be very difficult to do. We can't really go help students one-on-one. We can't do group work. They gotta work individually all day. I don't know if they're gonna have gym. Kids are gonna be stressed being in the classroom all day. They can't leave the classroom because they take lunch there. The only way this is gonna work is if we do it like the NBA, where, and this is gonna be impossible for us to do because we wanna go home, but the NBA, they're in a bubble where no one's going out, no one's coming in, right? And NBA, the players and the staff, no one's going out, no one's coming in, no one's traveling, everyone's staying in one bubble until the season is over. And if you're gonna ask us to do that for a whole 10 months, that's just not gonna happen, but that's the only way it's gonna work. Where no one's leaving, no one's coming in, we're all in that same building for, you know, the whole school year. That's the only way it's gonna work, and teachers are not gonna be with that, students are not gonna be with that, families are not gonna be with that. But that's the only way it's gonna work. Tell me what you think about it, comment below, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.